Hey everyone, AMR back again with another video. So in today's video, I think I'm going to be doing something a little different. So in most of my videos, you've probably heard me talk in one shape or form of another, but I really do like to run. I run pretty much every single day. I've run a marathon, I've run multiple half marathons, and I've run countless amount of 5 and 10Ks. So every single day after I get off of work, I run anywhere between 7 and 10 miles. With the occasional day off once every 2 to 3 weeks. So that means that I'm running somewhere in the range of like 400 miles every month. If my math checks out, like 7 times 30, which is 110. So not even close. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, like I'm sure you saw by the thumbnail that this is going to be a review video. So if you know anything about the sport of running and like marathon running in specific, you've probably heard of the world record setter in the marathon of Kipchoge. So Kipchoge is the most renowned marathon runner in the world right now. He actually ran, I think it was in Tokyo, with these shoes. So the shoes that I'm actually going to be doing are these right here. So let me go ahead and adjust my microphone and everything like that so I can show you these shoes. So I actually went ahead and bought a pair of these. They are called the Nike Vaporfly ZoomX Nxt 2s. So they are some of the most cutting edge technology. They offer the most support for a runner, as well as the optimal, I think what it's called is like energy back into the runner, if that makes sense. But essentially the way that the shoe is designed is that it's kind of shaped like a complete curve. So as you can see, like your standard shoe, I'm trying to like figure out how to do this on camera, bear with me. But the typical shoe is a little bit more flat right here. As you can see with this in this shoe in specifically, you have like a nice little curve here. And so it creates that downward motion when you're running. It like basically creates your foot into like a propelling type of a motion. The laces and everything are actually a little bit of a groove. Let me see if I can get them a little bit closer here. So as you can see, the laces are actually have like little tiny grooves in them. That actually helps out with when you're tightening, that the lace stays in that position throughout your entire run. So it maintains the tightness of your shoe while running, regardless of how much friction and stuff that your foot is creating while you're running. I will say that they are extremely expensive. So before actually buying these, I was a pretty avid supporter of Brooks running shoes. So for those that don't know, I'll try and like put like a picture of them right here. But Brooks is a really well-known running company as well. They specialize in men's and women's running apparel. So I actually bought 2 pairs of the Brooks Adrenaline. I thought that those shoes were phenomenal until right around like 400 or 500 miles in the shoes. So that for me, if my math again is so good, that's roughly between like 2 and 3 months is when I would start to feel a little bit more wear and tear in the shoe. I've really never actually owned a pair of shoes that made it past 1,000 miles. So I'm really kind of buying a pair of shoes every single 4 to 5 months. Which I think is pretty good when you run every single day, 7 miles a day. But all things considered, let's go ahead and talk about this shoe in specifically. So this shoe right here costs $250. So this shoe right here is one of the most expensive running shoes out there on the market, if not the most expensive running shoe. I will say though, it is worth every single penny that you can spend on a shoe. When I bought this, I actually had some major reservations. I was like, look, if I run in this shoe one time, so that first run, if it's not for me, then I'm gonna go ahead and take these back and try and get my money back. $250 is an absurd amount of money to spend on a shoe. So, but here's the catch. After running that first run, it was the easiest 7 miles that I had done in months. It was like running on a cloud. It takes a little bit of getting used to, so if you are a distance runner, try and give it to like about a mile and a half before you really kind of catch your groove. But you do feel a little bit like wobbly in the beginning. There's a lot of padding, a lot of cushion. There's a lot of different things going on with your feet than what you're used to. You do have to take that with a grain of salt. You have to understand that there are going to be some growing pains, unintended. of doing with a new shoe. So I don't know how else to convey this without you actually going out and getting the shoe. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on it and everything. But Nike, for me, has always been one of those brands that I try to stay away from whenever I'm doing distance running. I feel like the material that they make their shoes out of is way more prone to tearing on the fabric. They do a really good job on making the shoe breathable for a runner, so that way, you know, you don't create like sweaty feet and athlete's foot and all that kind of stuff. However, that being said, in these shoes specifically, again, I've only had them for about a week now, and I've done probably close to 50 miles on them. They feel fantastic. They don't ever feel flimsy. I mean, they shouldn't at $250, honestly. But like, I don't know. I've never been more motivated to go back and like start running again. Like, I was getting in a repetitive state there where like after I got done with my 7 miles in the day, I'm like, thank God I don't have to do that for another 24 hours. With these Nike Vaporflies, now with these Nike Vaporflies, you're actually able to recover really quick. Now, I will say the first 2 or 3 runs that I did, my legs were sore in different spots than what they were normally sore in. So I think that is just some of the transitions that your body's going to have to do with the new type of running. But as always, if you are going to go to a shoe fitting store, you know, like your local running club or maybe even like a Dick's Sporting Goods, I don't even know if Dick's actually carries these shoes. They've only been out for probably about a year and a half, but I always recommend people to ask the people who are doing the fitting to see if these shoes would actually be a good fit for your style of foot and the way that you run. They're not going to be for everyone, so make sure that you do your research before you go out and make a hefty purchase like this. But I'm excited. I think that these are actually going to be the shoes that I'll be running in my next marathon. So stay tuned on that. And based on the feedback on the channel, I may or may not end up purchasing a GoPro and then actually filming out my entire marathon run. The marathon won't be until October, so there's still plenty of time for me to make a decision as to whether or not I want to do that. However, registration starts on the 7th of April, so time is a-ticking. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, if you like today's content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. These are the new Nike Vaporfly Nxt% 2s, and I highly recommend you go to your local store and at least try them on. So that's going to do it for today's episode. I'll catch you later. See you.